This is Surviving
Survivor. Okay, welcome to our first episode, guys.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Welcome.
I'm Emily McGlynn.
I'm Jack Fraser.
And I'm Abby Tarpey.
All of us have been friends for how many years now? 3 years?
Like 4-ish.
4 years? Yeah. And we all kind of met in different ways, and Survivor has kind of been at the center of all of us kind of getting together over the past couple of years.
Yeah, we love a good surviving Survivor night. We do love to watch the show together. We laugh, we yell at the TV, and we are all so excited to be able to discuss this with you guys now.
Yeah, so Jack and Abby, how did you guys meet? How'd you guys become friends?
So we are all alumni of Penn State. And in the fall of 2020, Jack and I were in 2 classes together. So technically we met on like our first year freshman Zoom whenever you were like small little squares because of COVID. But then our first in-person class and our only in-person class for that whole semester, we ran into each other. So then I think I jumped up to him, if I remember correctly, and was like, oh my God. And then we started talking after that class and essentially just never stopped for 4 years. It's just been one long conversation.
That's so sweet.
We both love yapping, and we're great yappers together. And we both have a lot of like random things in common. I had never watched Survivor. I had heard of Survivor, but I had never seen an episode, didn't really know anything about it. And Abby here was like, we have to watch an episode. We got to do it. Let's do it. And I said, you know what? Why not? And we have not stopped watching ever since. It has been such an amazing show that I myself have become obsessed with, for sure.
That's so cute. And I know you guys like love reality TV in general. So like it was just kind of another show for you guys to watch together.
I will add a little asterisk. I love reality TV competition shows.
Yes,
I've
sorry.
never watched like a Real Housewives or any of those like The Valley, Vanderpump Rules, but I watched Hell's Kitchen, American Ninja Warrior, Survivor, Big Brother, The Traitors. Like that's my jam right there.
And how did you guys meet?
So
We
we met
also
on
met on
Zoom.
Tiny Little Squares
Yes,
in
it's
Zoom.
very
We
sad. But it
but
wasn't in a
we
class.
Yeah, we didn't have a class together. We just both were in the same organization in college, and we had a lot in common. We knew from the beginning. We were like, this person I want to get to know when we're able to get off of these squares and in person.
And we had no idea that we lived also in the same dorm for a semester. So we connected the dots later on that we lived in the same dorm. I didn't start watching Survivor until my freshman year of college. So fall of 2020, spring of 2021. I had some friends who really liked the show and they're like, oh, you need to watch this. And I was like, ugh, that sounds boring to me. I never really was, I was the exact opposite of Jack. My mom taught me to love, reality TV shows like Dance Moms and the Real Housewives, but I never watched anything of the sort. And then, I mean, we had nothing better to do besides our homework and then sit in our dorm. So we watched Survivor and I became obsessed with it. And Jack was like, no, we got to start having
We gotta talk about it.
Survivor watch parties. And then later down the line, I know you two guys would watch it together. And then you stopped watching it together because Jack and I were watching together. And then Jack said, oh, this is so stupid. All of us should just be watching together. And then that's how Abby and I met, which I think is so awesome.
And then
Yeah.
Survivor Nights were born.
So we
Yes.
have on this podcast, we got the day one fan. Abby has been watching since she was a kid. I think was your first season Philippines?
No, I
That
actually
was
don't
your
know what my
favorite.
first season was.
Okay.
First one, I've watched it long enough. I started when I was 5, so whatever the
Oh,
math
wow.
is to add up, like I remember growing up on it. The one that I like was obsessed with was Philippines, and then more so that first fans versus favorites or second
Yeah,
fans.
and and then the two of us started later on, but we have caught up. Like, I have been watching so much Survivor
Oh
ever
yeah.
since that day that I have seen seasons of the past. So we're excited to have this platform to talk to everyone about a show that we all love and a show that we get to enjoy together. Does
Oh
everyone want
yeah.
to quickly just say their favorite Survivor player? Just give a little insight on who you are.
Ooh.
I can start. I love Kelly Wentworth. I think Kelly Wentworth is the ultimate Survivor player, and I'm so sad that she has never won. But I love her social game. I think that she's also a really cool comp beast and some of the most iconic idol plays of all time. Like, what's not to love?
I actually got Jack for his birthday a cameo from Kelly Wentworth.
Abby, do you want to go next? Because I know you know yours. I'm curious if Emily.
I'm so curious about Emily's too, but as kind of spoiled by my falling in love with Survivor in the early 2010s, my favorite player is by far Malcolm Freeberg. Um, there's a lot of like good players where it's like you have to love like a Kelly Wentworth, a Sandra. Um, I love Sydney as like an underdog, even though she's not in the show that much. But Malcolm, I feel like is the perfect Survivor player that's kind of forced to never win because he's super strong, super threatening, but then also very strategic and very aware of how people perceive him. So he feels like the perfect Survivor player, but that almost means he can never be the sole survivor, which is very intriguing to watch to see how far he can go.
I like that answer. That's a very good answer. Okay, mine's kind of basic because it's the first season that I watched, and every time I watched seasons after that, I would be like, "Oh, but they're not like this person." I love Cochran. I love how nerdy and strategic he is and how much he like prepared for the game. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but he didn't like tell people like how big of a freak he was because I mean he was one of the fans, but
That was his second season. He was a favorite.
oh, was he a favorite?
Yeah, he was
Oh,
on South
that's my bad.
Pacific, and like he was like a super, like everyone knew. He said that he was like, I'm not even gonna pretend to hide my super fanness of it all.
And he
But it
still
did,
won.
and it didn't really come out in because isn't is that Karamoan? Which one
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like all-time favorite too? Love that season. He didn't really bring it up in that season, so it's like
Hmm.
his first group knew it in South Pacific, but not
But
Victory.
they kind of forgot him. Yeah,
Yeah. I just love how nerdy and charismatic he is. Like
Malcolm.
I love people like that. So that was just really cool to watch. And then he's just been kind of like radio silence since then. He's like, "Yeah, I got my bag and I'm done." Which I think is so
He's just
awesome.
writing his Star Trek shiz.
Yeah. Another thing that I want to bring up is how this podcast kind of came to be. I'm going to go back to Jack's original point. Jack and I met uh, through an organization at Penn State called Com Radio because we both majored in communications. And he came to me one day
I did
saying,
too. I
"Hey,
did too.
oh yeah, sorry."
All three of us, same major.
Yes. Yes. But Abby was into the movies and things like that, and we were lazy and just did audio. So Abby's obviously better than us. But um Jack came to me one day and was like, "Hey, do you want to make a talk show around our love for Survivor?" And I was like, "Heck yeah." So Surviving Survivor was born. We did it for 3 seasons at Penn State. And then we got a lot of exposure and experience from that. And we wanted to carry it on. And Abby would come in here and there, and that was so fun. And you always had such good
And kill it
insight into
every time.
everything every single time. And so when we graduated recently, we knew that we had to carry it forward with Abby. So now the three of us are going to be doing this. But does anyone want to touch on like what people can expect, the layout of each episode, and like what they can expect to hear?
I think you should expect to hear some wild theories, some really hot takes, a few arguments here and there because we don't always agree. And I think you should just expect to have a lot of laughs because the three of us together in a room is chaotic, to say the least.
I think you're gonna hear some professional yapping, just
I
all
like
survival
that.
yapping.
Yeah, I think we all provide like a different perspective. Abby's been watching it since she's been very young, like she said. And Jack, yes, hasn't been watching for that long, but has a really freaky memory. Like he can remember things really, really well. And something that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy about him is that he can rank things in a very strategic way. So that's going to be fun. And then I'm just kind of here for a good time. Like I have a horrible memory, but I love the show and I love talking about it. So it should be good.
Ooh. Stay tuned for some chaos, but also a lot of fun.
You guys will expect more things in the coming weeks when the season officially comes out on September 18th for season 47. Yeah, thanks. I'm so
Till
excited.
now,
This is gonna
get
be so
ready
fun.
to outlast.
Outlaugh.
And outspeak.
Oh yeah, baby.
Woo!
All right, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.